Hello and welcome to week 11 of the FrankenScrap Crochet Along, and this week we're making the undulating cable stitch. So this is a really pretty cable and it kind of just goes in and out as you go up the piece. And to start this week's stitch, you're going to be making a foundation chain of 44. Okay, to start the undulating cable stitch, we're going to be making a double crochet in the 4th chain from our hook. So the turning chain counts as the first stitch in this, so I've already marked the first chain from my hook, which is going to count as our first stitch. And for row 1, we're just going to make a double crochet in each stitch across. So this will be the foundation for making our cables in the next row. And we're just going to double crochet in every stitch. So the undulating cable stitch, it's a cable and it's made, that lovely texture is it's all on one side, and it's made by using front post and back post stitches, and that makes all that lovely texture sit on the front of the stitch. Oops. Okay, so I've got to use a pretty big swatch for this one, just so you can see how the repeats work through several different rows. As it's an offset stitch, so all the stitches from one row is offset in the next, or every 2 rows. Okay, so last double crochet of row 1, and then we're going to turn and chain 1. Okay, so for row 2, we're going to make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch of the row. I'm just going to mark that and keep track. Okay, so our next stitch is going to be a front post double crochet. I'm going to make it around the post of the next stitch. I'm going to skip the next stitch, and then in the stitch after that I'm going to make 3 double crochet all in the same stitch, and this then makes the little mini shells that's going to give this stitch its distinct look. So 3 double crochet all in the same stitch, skip the next stitch, and then around the post of the following stitch make a front post double crochet. Okay, so we're going to have front post double crochet, skip a stitch, make 3 double crochet all in the same stitch, skip a stitch, front post double crochet. And this is our repeat for this row. So to start our next repeat, we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next stitch, skip the next stitch, make 3 double crochet all in the same stitch to make our little mini shell, skip the next stitch, and around the post of the next stitch make a front post double crochet. There you go, and this is the repeat all the way across. Front post double crochet around the next stitch, so you're going to have 2 front posts next to each other, skip the next stitch, make a 3 double crochet mini shell in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, and then make a front post double crochet in the next one. Oh, that's not a front post, excuse me. So after the mini shell, skip the next stitch, front post double crochet around the next stitch, and then double crochet in the last stitch of the row. I've accidentally made one too many, but never mind, I shall sort that out. Take that out. There we go. Right. Pretend that extra stitch doesn't exist for this. So that is how your stitches. Okay, 2 front post double crochets, mini shell, 2 front post double crochets, and then to finish the row after that last front post, make a double crochet. Okay, row 3, turn, chain 1, make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch. Just mark that. Right, so this is the row we're going to start our back post trebles, and this is where it gets important to keep track of your stitches, because the back post trebles are going to sit behind, and they're going to sit on the back of where we're working, so it's kind of difficult to keep track. It helps if you keep flipping over just to make sure everything's in the right place. Okay, so we're going to skip this front post double crochet here, and in the first of our double crochet from the mini shell, we're going to make a double crochet. Now we're going to go back to the front post stitch that we skipped and make a back post treble around it. So you're not working in front of this double crochet, you're working behind it. So you get behind the front post double and around the back of that front post treble and make a front post treble crochet. So you make that around the front post double. Okay, so that double crochet you made earlier sits in front, the back post treble is behind, and if I turn over you can see how that's connected to that first front post treble in the row below. Okay, your back post treble should always sit behind the double crochets that you're making in this row. Okay, so now we're going to skip over to our next front post double crochet here. So we're going to skip the next 2 double crochet and go straight for this front post stitch here and make another back post treble. This one's easier to make. So back post treble made. Now we're going to go back. So your mini shell, there's 3 stitches in it, we've used the first one. We're never going to use the middle of double crochet, that will always stay empty. We're going to work into the last double crochet of those 3 and make a double crochet. So again, that double crochet sits in front of the back post treble we made. Okay, so now we're going to skip the front post treble. So we've already worked around this front post treble here, we made a back post treble around that. Skip the next one and work a double crochet into the first of the 3 of the mini shell. Now we're going to go back and work a back post treble around this front post treble here. Remember, always working behind the double crochet. Okay, you hook behind there. 1, 2, 3 to make a treble. Okay, so you can see how the stitches are crossed. Back post treble behind, double crochet in front. So we're going to skip the next 2 double crochet and make a back post treble around the next front post double crochet. And then we need to make a double crochet. We're going to make that in the 3rd double crochet here, but you're not going to work behind the back post. You need to make sure that your double crochet sits in front, so you need to pull that back post treble backwards to make sure you don't work around that, and so the double sits in front. So if I flip it over, you can see how those stitches are starting to come together, and your back post treble should be coming into a point. Okay, and that's what you need to do all the way across. Right, where are we? Yes, so we've worked into that double crochet. So next we work another double crochet into the first of the 3. Okay, so we've already worked around that first front post, skip the next front post, and double crochet into the first double crochet of your mini shell. Now we go back and work around that skipped front post and make a back post treble. So your back post trebles will only ever be made around the front post doubles, and your double crochet will be in the first and third stitches of your mini shell. So now I'm going to skip the double crochet, go to that front post double and make another back post treble. Okay, I'm going to go back to my skipped third double crochet and make a double crochet in that, and this brings us to the end of the row. So once you've made that last double crochet in that last stitch of your mini shell, you're going to make a double crochet in the last stitch of the row. Okay, and that's row 3 complete. And you turn, and you can see how it was all coming together. Okay, row 4, we're back to the front post double crochet stitches, which are much easier just because you can see what you're doing and how it's all coming together. So after your chain 1, make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch. Just move my stitch marker up. Okay, so we're going to make a double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so here we have this gap. Now there is no chain space, but it's just the way the stitches form that this gap appears. And into there we're going to make 3 double crochet. Okay, so we're going to make these mini shells. And it's just where that gap appears between the stitches. So it's not called a chain space because there is no chain space. But that's where you're going to make them. And it'll be in this V that's formed by these stitches here. Right, so we're going to make front post double crochets around each of these back post stitches again. So we're back to our nice easy repeat. 2 front post trebles, and then make the mini shell in this gap here. Okay, so it appears rather neatly and nicely, so you don't have to dig to find it, it's just there. Okay, and then make 2 front post doubles around each of the back post stitches, and you can see the next repeats coming through. So your mini shells are staggered. So here's our little mini shells from row 2, and the ones from row 4 are staggered between. Can you see the pattern is now starting very nicely to come together. Okay, so after you've done these last 2 front post double crochet stitches, we still need to add 1 more set of mini shells. So it doesn't feel quite right, but you're going to go into this space here and make 3 double crochet. 2, 3, so the last mini shell, and then make a double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, and then that's row 4 complete. So now we're going to turn and chain 1. And we're going to make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch. So row 5 is another row of back post treble crochet. Back post treble crochet. I'll learn to talk soon. Okay. So we're going to skip to the first front post double crochet, which is all the way over here. Okay. And we're going to make a back post treble. Now we're going to go back to the third double crochet here. We're going to ignore the first stitch of our mini shell for this one. The turning chain is really that first stitch, but just for the sake of completeness I'm leaving it there. So go back to the third stitch of the mini shell and make sure you come up, in front of the back post treble. So same as it was in row 3. Okay, the double crochet must sit in front of the back post treble. Make sure you don't work around it. And now we're going to make a double crochet in the next mini shell, but in the first stitch. So we're doing exactly the same as we did in row 3, it's just that we're starting a little differently because of the way the shells are offset. So after you've done that double crochet, we need to go back and work around the skipped front post double. So it's got to be sitting behind our double crochet, and there's the treble, and the stitches crossing over nicely, the treble always behind the double crochet. And then we're going to skip to our next front post treble and make a back post treble. So the repeat is exactly the same as we did it in row 3, it's just that we start and end a little differently because of the way the pattern offsets itself. So after we made that stitch, make a double crochet in the last stitch of the mini shell, and then double crochet in the next mini shell but in the first double crochet. Then we need to back post treble in our skipped front post double down here. Oops, something's gone slightly wrong there. I think I just caught a bit of the double crochet. Okay, make a back post treble, making sure we're working behind the double, and then skip the rest of the mini shell and go to the next front post double and make a back post treble. Okay, and then back to double crochets. So we work in the last double crochet of this mini shell, and then we skip over and we're going to make it in this double crochet here. Okay, so we started this row 4 differently. So into the last double crochet before your turning chain, and then we need to make one more back post treble around the last front post double crochet, and then double crochet in the last stitch of the row. So I just turn that over, you can see how that worked out. Okay, you can see there's that last back post treble, there was that extra double crochet that we had in row 4 that we started with, so we made a double crochet in that and then double crocheted in our last stitch. Right, one more row to show you. So turn chain 1, make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch. So this is now row 6, and this is the last repeating row I need to show you, and it's a front post double crochet row, much easier. So we're going to make a front post double crochet around the back post treble, and then we've got this space again. So here's your 2 back post trebles, and in between we have this space, and you're going to make 3 double crochet, so you've got your next mini shell. Then make a front post double crochet around the back post treble, and make another front post double crochet around the next back post treble. And then we've got this space again here, and into there make 3 double crochet. So we're not using the double crochets, we just skip those completely. So make a front post double crochet around the back post treble, and then over to the next back post treble and make another front post double crochet. Oops. Then make a mini shell into that space there. 2 and 3. Then make a front post double crochet around the back post treble, and then double crochet in the last stitch of the row, because at the end of the row we only have the 1 back post treble, and so you double crochet straight into the last stitch. And that is the undulating cable. And so you get these coming, so this will next repeat, you're going to go flare back out again, and that's all it's going to do, it's going to wave all the way up. And that is how you make that pretty little cable stitch. So to carry on this stitch, you're going to be repeating rows 3 and 6. And then all the texture is on the front. The back looks like this, but all your cable texture is on there at the front. To complete this piece, you're going to be repeating rows 3 to 6, and you're going to be making 17 rows in total. Once you've finished row 17, you can cut off and weave in your ends, and then you need to attach it to your previous pieces. So if you need to see the layout and see where this piece fits, then click the link below this video and you'll be able to see the layout and how to attach it. And don't forget, if you need any help or have any questions, please do come to our Facebook group, Froggity Frogs Ribbit and Stitch, and you can get everything answered there. So thank you for joining in this week, and I shall see you next week for the next square. Bye for now.